And he is joined by the Dublin manager, Anthony Daly, and also the Galway manager, John McIntyre.
Thank you very much, Michael. Well, I can vouch for the fact that down on the pitch it's very, very warm here, and it's going to be a test for the fitness of both Cork and Kilkenny. Temperatures are about 19-20 degrees here in Croke Park. Well, John McIntyre and Anthony Daly joins us. John, if I can ask you first about the power and the strength, having been up close to Kilkenny with this Galway team of yours that you're building, how strong and powerful are they?
Well, it's no secret. They've you know, it's been one of their big assets over the last 6 or 7 years. It's very difficult to counteract, and to back it up then, they're incredibly focused and composed, and their technique is outstanding as well. They don't do panic. They have it every way. They haven't been All-Ireland champions for the past 4 years and unbeaten for that length of time, unless they're really special. And this Kilkenny team has been a cut above every other opposition out there since 2005, and it's hard to see them being stopped this year as well.
Anthony Daly, the fact that Cian McCarthy is in and Shane Murphy is in, Shane O'Neill and Michael Cusson out, what does that say about Cork? We know about Shane O'Neill being injured, but about Michael Cusson, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, Marty, there's been a lot of debate all year about the Twin Towers and all the rest, and that they couldn't play together and all that. But like, I thought they were definitely going to go for that today, maybe to counter JJ Delaney fetching puck-outs, and I thought that's why I'd say the loss of Shane O'Neill at cornerback though is more significant. Like, he's a very, very good player, and you know, Shane Murphy's a good cornerback, to be fair to him, but Shane O'Neill would be a loss off any inter-county team. He's very solid, well able for this level, and 2 late changes for Cork. It's very un-Cork-like, really. You know, they're normally very self-assured in their approach, and you'll worry a little bit about it.
Well, John McIntyre, one last very brief question because we are running out of time. How do you stop this Kilkenny machine? What would you do?
Well, our tactical approach in the Leinster final was to try and tease out their 2 wing backs. It didn't really work, to be honest. The Kilkenny backline is very hard to break down, and if you have a shortage of bodies up there, it makes it even more difficult. Cork are going to have to produce the performance of their lives. Their half-back line, Ben O'Connor, they're going to have to roll back the clock, and even still, it's likely they're going to come up short.
OK, well, Anthony Daly and John McIntyre, I have it right. Thank you very much, John, after all these years. From both of us down, from all 3 of us down the sideline, we go back up to the commentary position and get all the details of the Cork and Kilkenny teams for this All-Ireland semi-final, and join Ger Kelly.
Thanks very much indeed, Marty. You know, when these 2 teams last met in the championship, which was exactly 2 years ago, the 2 counties were on 30 All-Ireland wins. Right now it's Kilkenny 32, Cork 30, in which time PJ Ryan has firmly established himself as Kilkenny's #1 goalkeeper, playing behind a full back line in which Jackie Tyrrell has been playing some of the best hurling of a fine career at left corner back. The Marble Magicians at half-back have achieved legendary status: Walsh, Hogan and Delaney. There's a change at midfield where former captain James Cha Fitzpatrick replaces Michael Rice, who's out with a hand injury. Henry Shefflin has been given the number 11 jersey, but he could be easily switched to maximise Kilkenny's advantage. And then up front there's good news for Aidan Fogarty, his first championship start since last year's All-Ireland final. Michael Dagnan.
Yeah, you're just having a look at Michael Fennelly here today. Michael Rice is the maybe more high-profile man, but to me, Michael Fennelly had a huge game against Galway. He had an incredible 23 possessions in that game, and with Michael Rice out today, Chad plays more of a sitting role in front of the half-back line, so his athleticism is going to be very important today.
Yeah, he's playing brilliantly. Well, not to be outdone, Cork have their legends as well, none more so than goalkeeper Donal Og Cusack. In front of him, playing at right corner back today, as you've heard, Shane Murphy replaces Shane O'Neill, who's out with a groin injury. Cork's battle-hardened half-back line remains intact, with Ronan Curran flanked by John Gardner and Sean O'Halpine. Same again in midfield, where Tom Kenny is starting his 40th championship match. Skipper Kieran Murphy of SARS has been chosen to start on the 40, with late replacement Cian McCarthy of SARS on his right. And a recall to duty in the inside line for 22-year-old Patrick Horgan. He was omitted for the quarter-final match, which of course was against Antrim. Michael.
Yeah, just having a look at Niall McCarthy today, I think he's having a very good year at left half forward. The only thing, I suppose, he's picking up a lot of ball way down the field, but he'll have to be close to Tommy Walsh. Both of them very combative figures. I'm expecting a huge battle between the 2 of them. And what's the odds on a couple of early yellow cards for Tommy Walsh and Niall McCarthy? But it's really the battle I'm looking forward to more than any other today.
Michael, thanks very much indeed. Kilkenny have beaten Cork in their last 2 championship meetings, but they're odds on to win again. But will it go according to plan? It's coming up shortly here on the Sunday Game Live. Michael.
Okay, we'll be returning to Jerry again in just a moment, but before that we get to the action. Let's get a final word from the panel here and talk about some of the players. By the way, Michael Duignan predicting yellow cards as well as results and everything else in this game, so hopefully there aren't too many of them. Let's look at the Kilkenny defence now. Earlier on, Sir was talking about their two wings back, but let's talk about the centre back, Brian Hogan.
Yeah, well, you see, centre back is such an important position, and Brian Hogan, there's all kinds of rumours circulating about Brian over the last few days, that he has got an injury, that he's wearing a plaster in his hand, that he has a damaged finger. You can see there on his left hand there is a glove of some kind on his left hand. Now, lucky enough, that's not his catching hand. So, but like, he's even more important now, Michael, because of the fact that John Tennyson is injured. Now, Tennyson came on for him the last day, and Tennyson played brilliantly. Now, as well as playing centre back, Brian Hogan can play full back. You know, if anything should happen to Noel Hickey. So they don't want to take JJ now out of wing back and put him back again full back. So he's really, really vital, and that he stays on the field and he stays healthy and stays uninjured for this game is more important now than ever, than any other time, because I think they can replace all their wingmen on the team. You know, if there's Sean Cummins there, there's Paddy Hogan, they have of course Mick Kavanagh, with a centre back, and this bring out Jackie Terrell, a centre back. They have no ready-made centre back without Hogan, so he's very, very important today. It's a measure of the kind of panel that this man here, Brian Cody, has. That Chap Fitzpatrick a couple of years ago, All-Ireland winning midfielder, All-Star. He comes in as a sub today, more or less, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I mean, that shows the strength and depth of the Kilkenny squad. And I mean, I believe this guy has been absolutely flying in training, has put in a serious effort to get back onto the team. And give credit to Michael Rice and Michael Fennelly. They're the guys that are actually keeping him out, and they've been playing top drawer. But isn't that fantastic? I mean, to have the strength and depth to be able to bring a guy like this, quality guy, into the middle of the field. No questions about his striking ability, his hurling ability, his reading of the game around the middle of the park. And he's a huge asset coming into the team. I mean, if you were missing Michael Rice and you're saying, we have to go down down the panel to see who are we going to fit in here, it would be more difficult for Kilkenny. But when this guy is in, it just doesn't seem to alter anything really. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure then obviously on the Cork midfield today. And Cathal Naughton, you want to make a mention?
Yeah, well, like Tom Kenny is kind of, everyone knows, Naughton's new guy on the block. He's around for a while, but he has great pace. And if Cork are to win, he's going to have to play very, very well. He's going to have to take on the Kilkenny defence, go at them, pop a few from outside if they don't come to him. And if they come, let off little hand pass to Ben O'Connor's. But he's capable of doing that. And like you have the likes of Pat Horgan coming back on the team. I thought he was very unlucky to be dropped and to be taken off in the Munster Championship.
And I think that's crucial as well. I mean, we've heard an awful lot over the last couple of days. I mean, we've heard Nicky Brennan more in the last 2 days than I heard him as the president, right? And I think he's actually, this was orchestrated, right? It's actually to get Cork into the physical stakes. With the likes of Cathal Naughton and Ben O'Connor and these guys, they're not able to do that. So I think Sir was right. Naughton has got to keep it open, keep it wide, and use his legs at every opportunity. Keep away from the Kilkenny guys as far as he can, and I mean, open up the gaps. I think that is crucial.
Cork to have a go at Kilkenny, they have to go back to their own type of game. Whipping it and shifting it and moving and have a cut at them rather than standing back trying to bring out, say, 8 backs or try to close down. That won't work against Kilkenny.
This is a view that I heard expressed by former Cork players, Ger. You know, that this is what Cork have to go out and play with a bit of free abandon and all that. Well, is that being naive though against Kilkenny?
It's easy to say there's no pressure on Cork because people expect Kilkenny to win this game by 10 or 12 points. But there is pressure on Cork because their whole reputation of this team built up over 10 years depends on their performance today, you know. And they just cannot back down from Kilkenny today. That's absolutely vital that they don't back down. But I would agree that they have to go back to what the traditional game is. That moving the ball really fast, getting the man into space, having a bit of composure. Maybe one thing Naughton lacks is that little bit of composure to put the ball over the bar. Now, this man here, Pat Horgan, he started off the league against Kilkenny below in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. He was absolutely brilliant. He got probably the goal of the year that day down there. Now, since then, his form has suffered a small bit. Maybe it has suffered because of the fact that everything was directed towards Esaki O'Halpine. Now, I expect today that he'll be brought in more to the game, but he's on Jackie Terrell. And if he gets anything off Jackie Terrell, then he's a really good player. Really good player.
See, the thing about it is, Tomas, 2 years ago, when some of that Cork team were a little bit younger, a little bit fresher, there was a 9-point gap between them.
Absolutely, Michael. And that is the worry. And like, Kilkenny, maybe if people are saying they've dropped the guard a little bit or are slipping, and I haven't seen that, being honest with you, you know. So I mean, it is a big ask realistically, and I mean, I'd be looking just today, right, that they can actually go and, as you say, play with abandonment and freedom and stuff like that, and take the game to Kilkenny. And probably to win it, we would need to get goals. And certainly, I mean, with Patrick Horgan, unlucky Paddy O'Sullivan mostly is not in the starting lineup as well, you know, that he'll be in at some stage. But we definitely need to get goals to win this match.
Final word, sir.
Yeah, Kilkenny to win the game, like it's theirs to win, and like if they're vulnerable, it could be this game because they hadn't any real game against Dublin or Galway. But like it's theirs really to win and it's theirs to lose. But I expect a cracker because like if Cork have blood in them and they have, they're going to give it today.
Okay, here we go then. Who will be the first team into this year's All-Ireland hurling final? Here's Ger Canning and Michael Duignan.
Thanks, Michael. The wind is just beginning to whip up a little bit here, blowing down the field towards Hill 16. in front of which will be barriers, we know, from the All-Ireland finals in September, 2.8 metres high. But that's to come. Right now it's the greatest of rivals. It's Kilkenny against Cork. Kilkenny bidding to reach their 11th final in 13 seasons, having missed out, of course, in 2001 and 2005 when they lost in those years to Galway. And there's Dennis Walsh there alongside Dr. Con Murphy, who reminds me that they're watching it everywhere and anywhere, in Vancouver as well, the hurling club over there, with a big interest in this, and their host Donald Toomey. And look at the crowd, look at the colour, look at the sense of expectation. Is it a case of the drive for 5, part 3 of that particular story, or as some would have it, close the door at 4? Michael Cusson there, and Paddy O'Sullivan as well. And Paddy O'Sullivan very unlucky, I think, Michael, not to be in that team.
Yeah, he played very well against Antrim here the last day. He played very well when he came on against Waterford, so he's unlucky. Maybe Pat Horgan obviously has returned to form. Good goal getter, and they're hoping that they're going to need goals today to win. They're going to need, I think, maybe 2-3 goals to win this game today. Interesting, that the one team that haven't scored many goals against Kilkenny over the last 10-11 years is Cork Kilkenny haven't scored many goals against Cork. They've only scored 3 against them in the 4 championship meetings over the last 11 years, and Kilkenny have scored something like 104 goals in that time. So the Cork backs, I think, will hold up very well today, but will they be able to get enough scores up front? But one thing, Gerard, right, the passion in this game, I believe the training in Cork over the last couple of weeks, we saw it against Tipperary in May, the way they rose the game, they were written off, by a lot of people before that game. They're written off again now. I expect a huge performance from Cork today. I ultimately think they may come up a bit short, but it's not going to be, the bookies have it all wrong. There is 7 and 8 to 1 and all this is completely wrong.
Well, the substitutes are watching, the fans and the teams. Donald Cusack there, the Cork goalkeeper, who's playing today in his 54th championship match. Now surpasses Ger Cunningham's record of playing in 50 championship games. We saw Ger there in the build-up to the programme. The teams last met, by the way, in mid-March. It was down in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, and Cork won that afternoon by a point. But it was a game where Kilkenny, already without the Ballyhale players, had to compete in the second half with just 14 men. His team lost Michael Grace just before half-time. And Paddy O'Sullivan in that match came on, scored 2 late winning points. That narrow victory, I suppose, provided Cork with some encouragement. Remember, and it's in today's programme as well, it's mentioned the 28-point roasting in 2009. It was Dennis Walsh's first match in charge of Cork. What a baptism for him to take Cork down to the league, into Nolan Park, and to get absolutely hammered by Kilkenny. And the Kilkenny fans enjoyed it enormously that afternoon. Richie Power, I remember finding the net 3 times on that occasion. Well, now, before the action gets underway, there's going to be a minute's silence reflection here for a great Tipperary man who sadly passed away last weekend. That's Mick Frawley, who was an outstanding GAA official, a kindly man as I remember him, with a passion for football and a great love of hurling as well. He was one of nature's best, and he is now sadly missed. Mick Frawley.
President of West Tipperary Board and Chairman of Tipperary Football Board. He was also a sitting member of the Association's Bylaws Committee up until the time of his passing. Godukatia, Suimnis Shiri, Da Anam, Husil,
Yes, indeed. Yeshdal Day, Garev Adam also. Mick Frawley from Tipperary died last Sunday. And now, before the action gets underway, it's time for the anthem. Our own Navian today, played by the band of the Garda Síochána. last, listen to the roar. Croke Park ready for action. The first of the All-Ireland Hurling semi-finals, Kilkenny against Cork. And I suppose there's a discernible tension in the air for this particular clash of the great rivals. 3 in a row ambitions have been shattered for both teams in equal measure in the last 10 years. It's Brian Gavin from Offaly who's in charge, and it's Kilkenny who play from left to right in the first half. Try to get the pressure on the Cork back straight away as Aidan Fogarty goes in, and that is a sensational start. A point inside the opening 10 seconds, very first attack. And the man announces his return to the starting 15 with a wonderful and typical point.
Yeah, Jaron, a man who'd be very disappointed to be left off the team earlier in the Leinster Championship. Noel Hickey and Asaki, a little bit of a schmozzle down the square there straight away.
As Taggy
TJ Ryan is out as well.
Well, this is maybe the tension I was talking about a little bit a while ago, and it spills over, and Brian Gavin goes down and tells them to try and have sense. And once they get this out of their system, it happened in Páirc Uí Chaoimh in that league match as well, where there was a player sent off, and once that burst of emotion and passion and tension and all the rest of it was finished and over and done with, they got on with the hurling. I think something similar will probably happen here. Yeah, Saki spoken to, and Noel Hickey as well.
Straight away. Brian Gavin, his style is normally to let the game flow early on, but you know, I think this is a game everyone knows you'll have to take control of early on.
Well, that he's done. Now let's get on with the hurling. This is how it happened. Getting to know you, slap that time, and then Asaki responds. Pressure back on the Kilkenny defence, and it's John Dalton who's having a wonderful season. Gets that ball in towards his inside forward line. Richie Power in there at full forward. That'll be a very tasty duel against Owen Cadigan as John Gardner tries to come out with it, running into a group of Kilkenny half forwards, and immediately they close the door on his progress there, 45 metres out from the Cork goal. Shutting the door immediately, they're making sure that he doesn't get out easily or lightly to make those long clearances. They've done their homework. They'll remember what happened in the game against Tipperary when John Gardner was the launching pad of so many scores. Right now it's Shaw Fitzpatrick, and Shaw puts this one to the left and he puts it wide. First wide of the match, but Kilkenny have the opening score.
Yeah, Kilkenny have started very brightly. Lovely little flick on by Owen Larkin there, and rarely you see Cha hitting the ball wide. He's normally deadly accurate from play.
So a puck out then for Donald O'Cusack, going towards right half forward. It's over there, of course, that Cian McCarthy is making his debut, taken away by JJ Delaney, his marker, up there beyond the inside forwards. Hand passed away out of trouble there by Shane Murphy, out as far as Sean O'Halpine. Easy one for Brian Hogan at centre half back to deal with. Comes forward, looks composed, again trying to place it accurately. Shane Murphy, number 17, getting across over to Gardner, quickly away, down into the corner there, where there's a switch with Ben O'Connor going right and Pat Horgan going left. Again, it's Brian Hogan with his second possession. Kieran Murphy, his marker, will have to try and close him down. And a little better than that, because Hogan's away, and he was fouled, and there's a... Or did he do the fouling? Yes, he may have caught it 3 times, is what the referee is saying.
Or thrown the ball, I think. Maybe.
Well, it hit the ground, didn't it?
Yeah, a strange one.
Yep. And he ends up being a free to Cork. John Gardner's going to be the one to take it.
Yeah, and Jerry, just that catch of JJ Delaney's, I was just looking at with the sun, I could hardly see it myself, and he caught it, came out in from nowhere and caught it. Brilliant catch, and just showed straight away, even though Cian McCarthy is there for that reason, to stop him catching it, he starts straight away again.
So Gardner launching it long, very long, to the right, and it's misdirected. Well, they'll have to be very, very accurate with their use of set-piece plays, frees from distance like that one, and closer in frees. Dennis Walsh appreciating the immensity of the task this afternoon as PJ Ryan pucks it out. Beyond Henry Shefflin, Gardner comes across, sweeps over towards Niall McCarthy, loses it. Once again, whip back in, Cha Fitzpatrick in as far as Owen Larkin, trying to dart inside, met by 2 Cork markers. Back out to Cha Fitzpatrick again. Tries to make his way forward, well hooked. Comes back here to Ronan Curran. Nice delivery in as far as Kieran Murphy, the Cork captain. Spread across over here towards Cathal Naughton. Naughton about to be closed down by JJ Delaney. needs options. Murphy's there and he's pondered on it. In came Henry Shefflin. Henry Shefflin has a go. It's going right and it's gone wide. So another one goes wide of the target for Kilkenny.
Yeah, Colin Loughlin had a great chance there just to flick the ball up to Cian McCarthy and get him into the game. Ronan Curran now down injured, which will be a big worry. Great hook there by Niall McCarthy, covered right back to field.
And it ended up there with Ronan Curran requiring the attention of Declan O'Sullivan, the physio, and Con Murphy, the team doctor. Well, there was concern about Brian Hogan, the other number 6, the Kilkenny number 6, going into this match with a hand injury. But Ronan Curran again would be one of those players Cork would find it very difficult to replace, should he have to be replaced. Having already lost Shane O'Neill, who is arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I think there's not too much argument about it, really.
No, there isn't. A huge loss to Cork. But their backline, traditionally over the last decade, you have to say, had been outstanding. A lot of experience there, and a big test on them today. But both teams, starting well enough, but a bit of nerves and a couple of wides there, which you wouldn't normally expect. But it'll settle down now in a few minutes.
Well, substitutes preparing. And it looks like Ronan Curran is going to be able to continue playing at his 43rd championship match this afternoon. In the 6th minute, Cork looking for their first score still. As Donald O'Cusack lets fly with that one down into the half forwards. Out to attack it there was Tommy Welch. Going after it again himself, kicked forward by Cathal, knocked into space. John Dalton's there. Good delivery back up towards Richie Power. Breaks it out by Shane Murphy. Onto it quickly came Larkin, back in towards Power. Kilkenny in full flow, dangerous attack move here, and the ball eventually overcarried, and it's going to be a free out. Richie Power just taking too much out of that one, and Owen Cadigan delighted with the decision and with the ability of Cork backs just to hold on and make sure that they didn't give a free away lightly and force the Kilkenny man into overholding.
Yeah, really, Owen Larkin should have tapped that one over the bar early in the game just to settle them.
Cian McCarthy trying to get to that one. Comes to Henry Shefflin instead. 51st championship match today, and that is a superb strike. First of the afternoon. Well, he keeps on adding to his very, very impressive points tally. He's already got 23 goals. Right now he's got 390 points, and it's Kilkenny who lead by 2 points to no score.
Yeah, and that's what he's brilliant at. He's drifting away from Ronan Curran left and right, and he just really has to stay with him.
Brian Hogan again with a wonderful catch. So far, Cork's forward line unable to make any kind of impression on the Kilkenny backs. And that's Eddie Brennan there, untypically misjudging it, but it might yet come back to him. It does. Quick look around now to see what's on here. He's going to go for a score himself. That mightn't have been the best of options. Every quarter forward wants to get a score as quickly as possible, just to settle themselves down and reassure themselves that it's their day. But I think he had better options inside. Brian Hogan in some difficulty. Both number 6s in trouble. There's Brian Hogan going back. I think he landed awkwardly and requires some attention. The physio, Robbie Lodgen, there in the dock. Ty Crowley having a look at him. Is it his shoulder?
Looks to be his shoulder, maybe just overextended, catching the ball. Didn't look to be much in it, but they really can't afford to lose him with John Tennyson injured. You'd probably see Jackie Turrell going centre back if he was.
Well, I wonder when we're going to see Paddy Hogan go centre back. He hasn't made his debut yet, but he's a player I've always had a high regard for.
He's a super player. He was a brilliant minor under 21. His brother Richie Hogan's.
Yeah.
Wasn't even on the panel last year, and plays absolutely brilliantly anytime I've seen him. So it just shows you the strength and depth that they have.
Brian Cody's 6th time, by the way, to manage a Kilkenny team in the championship against Cork. 3 wins, 2 losses so far. And Brian Hogan seems to be okay, the 29-year-old from O'Loughlin Gales. Lovely clump, very close to Nolan Park.
Interesting so far, Donald going long with every puck out, except for this one.
Yep, straight to Ronan Curran.
It shows you how, that's what he's brilliant at.
To Niall McCarthy. Now they've built it up here with 2 lengthy passes so far. Now where can they go from here? Niall McCarthy is hooked splendidly there by Cha Fitzpatrick, and the damage once again being inflicted. Here's Richie Power, little hand pass back here. That was Eddie Brennan. Back towards Power, not really making a great deal of headway, but Brennan's in again, trying to steal inside between 2 defenders. Back out to Richie Power once more, and in the end Tom Kenny comes, tries to get it. Michael Fennelly in the white helmet gets it up onto his stick there. They wait for it. No room being given to anybody. and eventually out comes Sean O'Halpine and clears the danger for Cork under enormous pressure. Nothing going by that Kilkenny half-back line. Here's Joe Fitzpatrick, the midfielder. Niall McCarthy battling. In comes Pat Horgan. Horgan having a go from a distance. Will this land over the crossbar? The umpires look at it and say no, not quite. Maybe a yard out. But the first real shot at the target by a Cork forward. You could see how far out Patrick Horgan had to go to get that opportunity. Seemingly no way through.
Yeah, Jerry, interesting so far. Kilkenny have got a few balls inside in the full forward and they seem to be hell-bent on scoring goals. You know, Owen Larkin could have tapped one over, Eddie Brennan could have tapped that one over, and maybe earlier in the game, you know, obviously it's a tactic. They want to get a goal maybe or two and try to put Cork away early.
That's a brilliant catch. Once again it is TJ Reid here. Oh, what pace. Little hand pass in. Stopped by the goalkeeper, Donald O'Cusack from Richie Power. Still there's danger there. And in the end, the ball picked up. Aidan Fogarty, free out. Well, this was real danger as TJ Reid was coming in here, pursued by Sean O'Halpine. Richie Power then denied by the goalkeeper from Cloyne. And in the end, Cork's free. Out it comes as far as Tom Kenny, the raiding midfielder, towards Cian McCarthy. Got hit that time. Strongly built young fellow who's only 20 years of age, trying to make some headway at right half forward. Not easy. This is where Jackie Tyrrell came out, and the young man from Sarsfields in Glanmire ended up on the flat of his back. But it's a free into Cork.
Yeah, no argument with that. And Don Logue did well there, stood up. I think the hand pass from Owen Larkin just a little bit high. It didn't go to hand, and you know, if you just watch it here, Richie Power to bring it down with the hurl. First of all, lovely bit of skill, but Don Logue stood up tall and good save and got it away again. But Cork are under a lot of pressure back there, and Kilkenny have had a couple of half-goal chances, but Cork are defending very well at the moment.
Well, he's one of the great goalkeepers of the last 10 years, no doubt in the world about that. So, Ben O'Connor in the 12th minute. Chance to get Cork's first point, win behind him. And the umpires go to the white flag, raise it, and Cork get their first score through Ben O'Connor. It's 2 points to 1. Well, it's a start.
Yeah, and a tough free, you know, 12 minutes in, not the easiest of frees to start with, but we've seen Ben O'Connor over the last 11 or 12 years, outstanding player and a great point to settle Cork.
PJ Ryan, the 33-year-old from Fenians in Johnstown. Right down through the centre towards Henry Shefflin, who's staying on the 40 as selected. No movement around, no trickery by Kilkenny. They very rarely engage in that anyway, where the selection's concerned. Cathal Naughton has a shot, and Cathal Naughton has put the ball wide. Well, there were other options, but he decided to go from it from the middle of the park. He's got some 9 points already in this year's championship. That was a bit rushed.
Yeah, uncharacteristic in fairness. He's normally very accurate from those positions. He maybe could have carried it under 10 yards, but hit it wide again.
Pressure over there. John Gardner lets it bounce off his fingers, and it's going to be a line ball to Kilkenny. Aidan Fogarty will be very, very glad to get back in there. Former man of the match, of course, in the final a few years ago. Scored 1-3 that afternoon. This line ball is going to be taken by Michael Fennelly, last year's captain. Caught it really well inside towards Eddie Brennan, but scooping it away here out of danger. Out comes Brian Murphy, out as far as Niall McCarthy. Nobody on him now. 65 metres out from his own goal. Has a go, looking for the big point, but really it's a wasted opportunity. What is the point of having inside forwards if they're going to hit shots from that kind of distance? Yeah. 2 in a row now, one from Naughton, one from McCarthy.
You know, crazy shooting, and you know, Asaki inside one-on-one really, but there's a lot of room in there. You'd like to see that down on top of Asaki and, you know, use his height advantage over Noel Hickey and try to catch a couple of balls.
So once again, no particular hurry for the Kilkenny goalkeeper. He's been at college in Carlow IT during the winter. Trying to pick out a colleague here over the head of TJ Reid. Across the sweep comes Ronan Curran, the centre half back. Now in towards Asaki this time. Haven't really given him a ball so far. This time he has one. Back towards Niall McCarthy. That's a good looking shot. Comes inside the right hand post, but not quite over the bar. Batted out once again here. Controlled Ben O'Connor, holding it up for Kieran Murphy. Kieran Murphy running into the challenges there. and the ball is played away. Well, initially it was John Dalton. Now they're in trouble here as Pat Horgan was raiding, and the referee blows his whistle for the foul on Patrick Horgan, the 22-year-old from Glen Rovers, and it's going to be a free in and a chance to level up the match here after a quarter of an hour's play.
Yeah, good defending initially. A little bit dangerous here by TJ Ryan blocking it out, and it was going over the bar, but then they got it away, and Tommy Walsh uncharacteristically walked over a ball and fouled them.
So questions about steps as always, but the referee has made his decision. Well, it wasn't a question of steps. I think they're indicating that there might be a requirement to replace the injured player, as Ben O'Connor is going to take it. Brian Hogan's in difficulty. That's taken by Ben, and it's put over the bar. He's got Cork's 2 scores, both of them from frees, and it's Kilkenny 2, Cork 2. And the difficulty now for Kilkenny is the form of Brian Hogan here, and an injury that is certainly affecting him, and I think is going to force him out of the match. And coming in is James Ryle. You're right, he's the first man in.
Yeah, and he's gone straight in centre back. Another man with huge experience. He's been around the Kilkenny panel for the last 8 or 9 years, and very good hurler. But that's Brian Hogan and John Tennyson, 2 outstanding centre backs now gone off the Kilkenny team.
So James Ryle comes in for his 20th championship match. He's been out of the team for a long time now, but he gets his opportunity in the semi-final, and you never know where it may go from here on in. That's JJ Delaney knocking it forward there towards Richie Power again. Very fine talent, gets it under control, neatly done, and a sweet point by Richie Power, his first of the day, and Kilkenny are back in front again by 3 points to 2. Well, his brother started the minor victory, which was a great victory for Kilkenny minors over Galway, and Richie is doing it here.
Yeah, you don't see a huge lot of ground hurling in the modern game, but a great first time ball in by JJ Delaney, and lovely first touch by Richie Power over the bar.
Terrific hurlers everywhere and anywhere, as McElfennelly comes across but runs into Kieran Murphy. Kilkenny have come out as though they know and believe they're going to win this match. Don't get that same feeling from Cork, a little bit overawed. Henry Shefflin coming forward, they'll release to Brennan. A cracking goal by Eddie Brennan, his 26th ever. 17 minutes are gone, opening goal of the game. Inevitably it's Eddie Brennan, and it was Kilkenny who simply just came storming through the centre of the field here, with Henry Shefflin laying it off to Brennan, and Eddie Brennan into the corner, cool as you like, and it's 1-3 for Kilkenny. It's 2 points for Cork.
Yeah, Jerome, what more can we say about Henry Shefflin? One of the greatest players, if not the greatest player of all time. Again, they're breaking onto the ball. Brilliant example to any wing forward playing the game. Drew the men into Eddie Brennan, one of the great finishers, and set up by a great piece of skill by Michael Fennelly. Flicked the ball up into his hand in the middle of the field, drove on with it and kicked it up the field, and a great team score by Kilkenny.
Well, after 20 wins on the trot, Kilkenny really look like a team that believe they're going to do it. Do Cork have that same inner belief? We know how they have the resolve, but have they got the belief? JJ Delaney up here towards Aidan Fogarty, the man they call Taggy. We've got a Taggy and we've got a Fraggy in today's match. We've also got Brian Murphy, and he's got the ball here. Swiftly back again, out by John Gardner. Cork must remain cool and competitive. An awful lot of time to go. We're still only on the first quarter. Ben O'Connor down here as far as Pat Horgan, trying to shake off the challenges. Back here towards Cathal Naughton, coming from midfield, raiding as ever. Always a dangerous looking attacker, and that's a useful point by Cathal Naughton. So a goal between them. That goal by Eddie Brennan just a few moments ago.
Yeah, that's a super score. Ben O'Connor, nice ball down the wing to Pat Horgan. He looked up, showed a great bit of vision back across to Cathal Naughton, and that's what he normally does. Very accurate from play over the bar.
Well, the one thing Cork will not have wanted to see Kilkenny do was get those early goals. They go one already. We've seen in the past how they've knocked the stuffing out of other teams with a couple of early first half goals. But Cork will battle again as Cathal Naughton stepped out over the sideline here on this near side. Linesman down here, James McGrath from Westmeath, indicating that it's going to be a line ball to Kilkenny. Dennis Walsh questioned him about it.
Yeah, he was very close to it. You know, the rule obviously is the ball has to be out. It doesn't matter if the man is out. So he obviously felt when he threw it up, it was out over the line.
And I think some of the fans pointing to the ball being in the field and not on the line or behind the field. Anyway, it's cut in. Back to Henry Shefflin. Partly blocked. Waiting for it is Ronan Curran. Out here as far as Cathal Naughton, using the possession. had an option to play it out to Sean O'Halpine. Going wide instead out there where Cian McCarthy is. Haven't seen too much of him so far. Has a go from a distance, and he's put this one wide. That's 5 wides now for Cork.
And Gerard, from a tactical point of view, this is huge. If the Kilkenny half-back line are going to stay back in their position, when the half-forward line drop off them, they have to take those chances. We've seen Niall McCarthy getting a chance, Colin Loughlin, now Cian McCarthy. That's the only way you're going to make the Kilkenny half-back line come out and follow them, is if they put them over the bar. And if they keep hitting them wide, they're going to stay back, and it's going to really, you know, make it very hard for Cork to score goals.
Once again, Henry Shefflin here, and the referee pointing in the general direction of the Cork goal, and this is the first free of the match awarded by Brian Gavin to Kilkenny. And there you saw Sean O'Halpine restraining Henry Shefflin. So this is about, as the crow flies, about 50 metres from the target. He's already got 1 point from play. He's set up the goal as well for Eddie Brennan, and he makes absolutely no mistake whatsoever.
Yeah, he started brilliantly. You know, you have to say overall the Cork half-back line have got plenty of possession, but Shefflin is drifting all over the place, and you know, he's obviously Ronan Curran is trying to hold the centre, and Shefflin is moving up and down both flanks.
Cork go with the short puck out to the cornerback and try to bypass the Kilkenny half-forward line, but when they bypass the half-back line rather, then they run into the full-back line, and Jackie Tyrrell is there. Out here as far as Cha Fitzpatrick, is there any way through any of those lines of the Kilkenny defence? 2 defenders go for the 1 ball, and in comes Fogarty for Kilkenny. Back out here once again towards Henry Shefflin, looking at the target, shooting it in haste and putting it wide. Well, he had ample time, I think, and he realises that now. But it's 1-4 to 3 points. Kilkenny with a much better start. Longer puck out this time, straight to Niall McCarthy. Again, it's Donal Cusack being very, very clever and intelligent in his use of the puck outs. Now, how will the rest of the team respond? Losing possession here to Cha Fitzpatrick. It's James Ryle now, the substitute, has come on for Brian Hogan. Huge one, goalkeeper comes, ball gets lost, Fogarty's in after it, and it's in the back of the net, and Taggy does it again. Another one. That's 2 goals in the space of about 5 minutes, and Aidan Fogarty in the 22nd minute is in to get his 8th ever championship goal. This was lost in the wind, goalkeeper dropped it down, and Fogarty on hand to pounce and make it 2-4 to 3 points. What a start for Kilkenny.
Yeah, Jerry, you have to say Richie Power was very, very clever there. He didn't really go for the ball, or he didn't tackle the goalie. You know, most lads would have ran into the goalie and give away a free out. He left it out there, just kind of half went for the ball, half took the man and let the ball break and into the back of the net.
Sean O'Halpine against the team rated 7-1 on favourites. Cian McCarthy coming in after this one here. Out came PJ Ryan, and the goalkeeper got the vital touch to it. Horgan now losing it. Ryle's there as well. Stalemate broken up by JJ Delaney. Look at the number of Cork players surrounding him, but he still managed to get it out as far as Michael Fennelly, and Michael Fennelly makes a good 70-80 metres down the field with that one. The backs again knock it down, but Henry Shefflin's waiting, lurking again out forward here as far as Aidan Fogarty, and Fogarty's got a goal and a point in the last 2 attacks. That's a goal and 2 points now for Aidan Fogarty.
Yeah, again, Joe, what a score. I don't know how JJ Delaney got the ball in his hand back in the full back line, passed out to Michael Fennelly, and the ball is hit 90 yards. Shefflin picks it up, and again, instead of wasting the ball, short pass straight into Aidan Fogarty's hand and over the bar. Brilliant, brilliant score.
Well, everything is working well so far. 4 of the Kilkenny players in the forwards have now scored. The only 2 without a score so far, the captain TJ Reid and Owen Larkin, and they've been contributing handsomely.
And I don't think Tommy Walsh has hit the ball yet, which is unusual, and they're going so well. Niall McCarthy doing a good job up that flank, but all the rest of the backs well on top, and Cha Fitzpatrick and Michael Fennelly hitting a lot of ball in the middle of the field. But Shefflin really is the man that's making it happen. He's controlling everything there from centre half forward.
Well, if one part of Brian Cody's team gets closed down for maybe a short spell in a game, the others then simply raise their game. Now it's TJ Reid swiftly in there, broken down by Henry Shefflin this time, onto Michael Fennelly, and Fennelly is restrained, and there is a concern about Henry Shefflin. Not exactly sure how the injury occurred here.
So he came down very awkwardly there.
Oh yes, it could be the ankle, it might be the knee.
It looked like the knee took the impact, and you know, I don't know if that's the crucial thing with the knee.
Yeah, everybody remembers that a few years ago in the All-Ireland final. He was captain that day as well. and was forced off before half-time. A match where they also lost Noel Hickey before the interval. But immediate concern now for Henry Shefflin, just when everything was going well, ahead by 2 goals and 5 points to 3 points. Well, it's the knee they're most concerned about.
Yeah, Martin Comerford got ready very quickly there, so...
Martin Comerford is the player being prepared, should he be required.
But look at the players, Jared, we're talking about here. James Wright can come in there at centre-back, straight in. Martin Comerford, you have Michael Rice, I don't know how the hand is, Michael Kavanagh, players like that, you know, just all-Ireland medal winners, all-stars, ready to come in.
You know, Michael, 25 minutes are gone in this match, and we were saying going into the game, you know, Kilkenny 7-1 on favourites to win it, and we're saying surely no team in the semi-final is 7-1 on favourites. But look at the scoreline, 2-5 to 3 points.
Yeah, and as I said, probably had 3 or 4 more chances to tap the ball over the bar, but they kept attacking.
And a couple of goal chances.
Well, they kept attacking, looking for the goal chances, and then eventually they cropped up. You know, and they're so good. They know they can do that. They have that confidence in their own ability to just keep probing and look for the goal chances.
They're moving the knee here, and the good news is that he's able to get back on his feet again. And please God, it is not that knee that caused him all the bother 2 years ago. Or it was 3 years ago, wasn't it, the game against Limerick?
Yeah, and I've been making this point all during the year. Last year, Kilkenny won the All-Ireland. Noel Hickey was injured, Brian Hogan was injured, Richie Power was injured, Henry Shefflin was just back. That's the spine of their team right up the centre. They're all 100% fit this year. Now we see Brian Hogan gone off again today, but that's a huge difference to the team. They're anchored by fit men this year.
And Richie Hogan can take over the freeze now and put it over the bar. He's got his second point of the match. Henry Shefflin is now coming off, and Martin Comerford is going to come on in his stead. Well, he's walking off quite freely. I'm looking at him, and he's walking off okay. Very disappointed, no doubt, but the indications are that it is not as serious as it was 3 years ago. But then I'm not a medical person. It's just that's the way it looks to me right now. Owen Larkin leaving it here as that ball is knocked in from a distance, a huge distance, and it's put over the bar. And Martin Comerford, as you say, just in the match, approximately 30 seconds, and he's got his first point, and it's 2-7 to 3 points, and it's already running away from the Rebels. Donald O'Cusack's puck out. Comerford again. Well, they bring him in, a man off the bench who's probably just waiting for the opportunity to come in and show what he can do. Cha Fitzpatrick lobbing it in here, batted out by Shane Murphy. Out into the middle, Tom Kenny leaving it there. Fennelly's rampant, and that's over the bar, his first point. Well, he was a peripheral figure last year, came in and played a few minutes at the end of the final, lifted the cup and so on, but what a transformation this year. Michael Fennelly is assertive, he's showing what he can do, he's dominant, dodging around here, getting the scores, he's a confident player. Back in the half-forward line now. Cork tried to make some inroads. Kenny stopped there by J.J. Delaney. Out again to Fennelly. He wants the ball, he's demanding it, playing it cleverly up here as far as Eddie Brennan. Getting it onto his left this time, and again he's miscued it. Got the goal after 17 minutes. 5 wides now for Kilkenny as well. The sat-nav not quite working.
No, he's hit a couple of wides, but Michael Fennelly, I picked him up before the game. He's a player that I think is hugely impressive. And we know what sort of an athlete Tom Kenny is, but any bit of a breaking ball, he's onto it like a flash, and his striking has improved. There's JJ again, what a catch.
Getting it ahead of Cian McCarthy. Well, it would be all very well for Cork to start making changes in their forward line, but they haven't got the ball into the forward line yet.
No, they're getting well beaten in the middle field and the half back line, even though Tommy Walsh, as I say, hasn't been in the game much, but J.J. Delaney, and you know, they're just dominating. Michael Fennelly, particularly in the midfield, and Cha hitting an awful lot of ball.
It's going to be a line ball, which Ben O'Connor has come out to take, and the indications when he comes out to hit this, he might even fancy it, putting it over the bar, but it's a huge distance out. Lobbing it in, inside towards Asaki, trying to break it down, and onto it quickly there was John Dalton. He's improved immeasurably as well this year. Jackie Tyrrell we know all about. Up here towards Owen Larkin, trying to break it out. There was a foul there by John Gardner. It's going to be a free for Kilkenny, and the Cats fans all around Croke Park are just loving the opening 29 minutes of this match. Everything they have dreamed about. The rivalry between the two counties has been quite intense, heightened by, well, I suppose Donald O'Cusack's book, And I suppose just the general rivalry in recent years, the fact that they were level pegging as competitors for most of the last decade, but then in recent years Kilkenny have just stolen a march on Cork. PJ Ryan, big one in. Oh, it's taken again by Richie Power, getting there ahead of Owen Cadigan. That is some score. He's some player. This could be the player who could be the makings of this Kilkenny team, not just this year but in future years. Real leader, great in the air, took it down brilliantly, took a few steps maybe, but still got a bit of latitude and put over his third point.
Yeah, Jaron, just the intelligence there to come back out the field where the room was. You know, a lot of the turning got blocked. He moved back out the field and turned over the bar. But I agree with you, I think he is the player that for the future. I think last year he would have been, except for the hamstring injury, and he's been a bit unlucky with injuries over the last couple of years.
Asaki takes this one down brilliantly ahead of Noel Hickey, but he loses it then. And Noel Hickey, as the crowd roar on their encouragement, up towards Richie Power again. Aidan Fogarty rolls it up with lovely economy. Breeze gets a hold of it, however, and it carries to the left and it's gone wide. Goal and a couple of points by Aidan Fogarty already in this match. 28-year-old now from Emeralds, and there's Brian Hogan. The shoulder is the problem, came in here with fingers causing him a problem, but he's in a bit of difficulty, and he damaged that shoulder as well. I remember in the league final last year against Tipperary, the beginning of May. I hope it's nothing terribly serious. Here's Cathal Naughton. Little block on it again there by Michael Fennell. He's having a stormer. Larkin, brilliant score. He's waited for a chance. It's gone over for him, and it's a first for Owen Larkin, the James Stephens man.
Yeah, well, I think that sums up that score. Ronan Curran could have cleared that ball 80 yards down the field. He went with a long hand pass to Cathal Naughton. It was a bit high. Michael Fennelly in like a shot. He's switched now. Cathal Naughton switched on to Michael Fennelly to try to negate him a little bit. And, you know, another great score by Owen Larkin from outfield. Very direct hurling, first time hurling.
Tom Kenny now trying to win some ball in the middle of the park, and there was holding up there this time, and it's Kieran Murphy who's gone in at full forward. They've withdrawn the two corner men because there's nothing at all going up there anyway, so he's the only leader of the attack right now, the captain, and he was being held back. Jersey being pulled, and the referee gives a free into Cork, so it gives Ben O'Connor, who has scored all bar one of Cork's points so far, the other by Cathal Naughton, of course, so chance to make it his third point of the match, Cork's fourth. All of Ben's points coming from frees. But look at the margin, 12 points now at this stage. 2-10 to 4 points.
Yeah, Jeremy, we saw this in both games in the Munster Championship, Munster final against Waterford. The Cork forwards not able to score from play. You know, they went over a half in both of those matches without scoring, and we see it here again today. The only score from play from Cathal Naughton from the middle of the field.
John Gardner. Left there for Michael Fennelly. This time taken down by the goalkeeper, and Donald O'Cusack completes the clearance, getting it out to Sean O'Halpine. Niall McCarthy now. Well, Tommy Welsh stays back, that's the plan of course, so Niall goes deep, collects the ball, but still has a fair old distance to make the target. Doesn't quite make it again for the second time in this match. Ben O'Connor was trying to scoop it back towards Niall McCarthy. It's Tommy Welsh instead, and eventually Noel Hickey drops it away into the half forwards. Out came Eddie Brennan, out too came Brian Murphy, the corner back. Over there towards Cian McCarthy, trying to go by Michael Fennelly. Very little going Cork's way. Looking uncertain. O'Halpine now, that's Sean O'Halpine. And he's put it over the bar, his second point in this year's championship, first point of the match here. So 2-10 to 5 points. That was from a fair old distance out. The scoring chances created by the two teams so far interesting. Kilkenny with 20 scoring chances, Cork now with 12 scoring chances, but only 5 points. Again, Kilkenny tried to win primary possession there in and around the Cork 45-metre line. Onto it quickly comes Aidan Fogarty, darting forward, a little hand pass released inside. It was intended for Eddie Brennan. The goalkeeper's got to come. Eddie's protesting to the referee that he was being held. Out once again through Cathal Naughton. The midfielder is back in his own full back line. helping out. Now, Tommy Welch, you said he wasn't all that visible earlier on. How about that? Into Richie Power. His catching has been superb. The play of a very confident player. To TJ Reid, well, if he scores, that'll complete the forward line. Everyone now has scored from 10 to 15 for Kilkenny. And even Martin Comerford, who came on in place of Henry Shefflin, and it's 2-11 to 5 points.
Yeah, super catch by Tommy Walsh. You see there, Niall McCarthy went up the field as he has been doing. Here's Tommy going back on his own. He just stays back there. Great catch. Ball in, great catch by Richie Power again inside and lays it off, and a simple score again by Kilkenny.
We're playing 4 minutes now of added time. Ben O'Connor trying to nurse it to himself here. Cahill Naughton trying to come onto it, but it's not just one marker you got up against. You got 3 or 4, because Kilkenny are showing the necessary appetite in an All-Ireland semi-final, and Cork's approach to this game, there's been something wrong about it from the word go.
Yeah, well, there's not enough aggression in the forward play. I would say you have to go man-to-man with Cork. This thing is drifting off, looking for a handy ball. They're only going to stay back in their positions, and all you're doing is hitting the ball up to where they are. When it breaks in around the square, then there's nobody there, only the Kilkenny half-back line.
That's brilliantly in there. It's dropped there by Noel Hickey, but Cork again unable to get sticks to it. Out comes Niall McCarthy. Cork with only 2 points from play so far in this match. Out over the sideline. Bit of shouldering going on here. Niall McCarthy and Jackie Tyrrell. There you go, their impression of puck goats. We'll get on with the hurling now once again. We're already well into stoppage time. Some 3 minutes still to go, and Niall McCarthy now being called aside. Referee, you may remember, gave yellow cards to Asaki and to Noel Hickey at the beginning. Now at the end of the first half, there's one for Niall McCarthy as well.
Yeah, there's Niall McCarthy going, leading with the head. And I don't think Brian Gavin saw that. He said it was digging with the hurl. If he saw that, it could have been a red card. I don't like to see that. I know there's helmets on, but this thing of headbutting, to me, it's crazy. It's not, it's not sport. It's not in any sport. I don't like to see it, but particularly in hurling.
So Kilkenny 2-11, Cork 5 points, and once again Kilkenny with a late first half free.
And of course, Richie Power was a brilliant free taker at minor under 21 level, and when Henry Shefflin was out injured for the year, he took the frees. What a man to have on them, but when Henry's playing, he always takes them.
I was reading his club coach, or was his club coach anyway, John Lahey, today in the paper. He was saying that when he gets to take the frees, it'll boost his confidence and keep him more involved. And there's another illustration of that one, another lovely point from a huge distance out. Well, he was a good 80 metres away from the target there. He's got his 4th point of the match.
Beautiful technique, and they have the subs. I just looking at Aidan Fogarty didn't start in Leinster. Martin Comfort was there, then he was dropped. James Ryle coming back today. Like, all these lads are so hungry, they want to be back in the big time, and you can see it in the way they're playing.
There's James Ryle, well blocked that time by Kieran Murphy, and the referee saw the challenge on Murphy, gives a free into Cork. Very honest player, Kieran Murphy, good captain as well. He'll be bitterly disappointed with the way the first half has developed so far.
Jackie
always gives his level best, and they are great pals, Kieran Murphy and Jackie Tyrrell. They have shared a flat, and they were college mates in LIT, but Jackie's got a yellow for that anyway.
Murphy mustn't have paid the rent or something. You wouldn't think it. He's after hitting a couple of digs since the game started.
So hatching plans before they go in to the dressing room at half-time. The Cork management team there, Dennis Walsh, Jerry Ryan, Pa Finn, and of course Pat Buckley as well. Ben O'Connor ready to take this. 3.5 minutes of the stoppage time has been played, and that one has gone away to the right. Ben with some 3 points in the first half, all of them from frees.
It's going to be a big half-time for Cork. What do they do? They're down by 13 points coming into half-time against one of the greatest teams of all time. The easy thing is to give up, but they can't do that. They have to come out. Great catch there by Owen Cadigan, but they have to come out with massive heart and drive in the second half. They can't. If they don't, anything could happen. They could be beaten by 20 points.
Well, that's the big challenge now, as Richie Power leads Kilkenny off. They've lost Henry Shefflin with an injury, but Richie Power giving loads of leadership there. An all-round, very convincing performance by Kilkenny. They had goals from Eddie Brennan after 17 minutes and Aidan Fogarty after 22 minutes. James Ryle's come in. Cork have been a bitter disappointed. A major challenge for them facing them in the second 35 minutes. At half-time it's Kilkenny 2 goals and 12 points. Cork 5 points. Michael.
Okay, I'm back here in our Croke Park studio. We have Cyril Farrell, Tomás Mulcahy and Gerald Nan. Tomás, a quick word from yourself before the commercial break. Talking to some hurling people during the week, a few of them expressed the view that they thought that Cork could actually take a heavy beating here today. Now, I know it's only half-time, but it's not looking good, Tomás.
No, it's not looking good, Michael, and certainly in the dressing room at half-time, I know there'll be a lot of harsh words, but they've got to show some serious pride in the jersey in the second half, you know, and because we've learnt in the past that Kilkenny will not stop at this, you know. I mean, they're going to be ruthless even again and in the second half, and it could be a serious beating here, you know. And the disappointing thing is we got 5 points in the first half, we've got 3 from frees, we've got 1 from our half-back, we've got one point from play. They've had a good lot of possession, right? But again, when they won possession right around the middle of the field, the half-forward line, we were taking pot shots from 60, 70 yards out and putting the ball wide. None of the full forward line was brought into play, and that's a disappointing factor from a Cork perspective. But look, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to put your hands up and say, if you have Richie Power inside a full forward and you have Shelflin and the Meister out at centre forward, and he's dictating things and he's orchestrating things and he's flicking balls out. And I mean, they went for goals very clearly from the start, right? And didn't come. Cork defence held up and held them tight and got a few free outs for over-carrying. But then you knew all the time, Michael, that was going to be a matter of time, and they did get the 2 goals, which were crucial. All
right, we're going to take a short break. Further reflection on that first half in just a few minutes. Now, also here on the Sunday game, there's a chance for you to win a fantastic prize. So don't go away.